As an actor, you're put in a ring and told to feel, really feel. Real tears, real skin changes, real heartbreak. At 56, Nicole Kidman filmed scenes so intense she admitted they left her physically overwhelmed. At 57, she sat through a divorce she never wanted. And at 58, she walked into an interview and said something that stopped the room. This is the woman who stayed in character for months, who shaved her eyebrows for a role, and whose own children were raised in a world she couldn't reach. Now she's alone again. But instead of hiding, she just dropped a bombshell that even her closest circle didn't expect. Welcome to Royal Time of Hollywood. Today, we're looking at the raw, unfiltered truth of Nicole Kidman. The dual identity of a star. Nicole Kidman entered the world in a place that didn't match where her life would unfold. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii, in 1967 to Australian parents on student visas, she automatically became a dual citizen. Her father, Anthony, was a biochemist and clinical psychologist, while her mother, Janelle, was a nursing instructor. Growing up in the leafy suburbs of Sydney, Nicole was an observer. While other kids rushed about, she watched. She tracked moods and shifts in expression as if feelings were something to be mapped. By age 3, she was in ballet. By 6, a school pageant cast her as a sheep. That simple moment of bleeding in front of a crowd gave her a rush she never forgot, the realization that she could hold a room's attention. A childhood shaped by intensity. Life at home was intellectual and intense. Her father's work in psychology meant conversations often revolved around anxiety, depression, and the human mind. Then, at 14, the world turned dark. Her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Nicole became a caretaker, even learning massage to provide her mother physical relief. This early exposure to suffering didn't just make her tough, it made her hyper-tuned to the pain of others. By 16, she was a force in the Australian film Bush Christmas, enduring bruises and heat in the outback. But it was the 1989 thriller Dead Calm that changed everything. She played a grieving mother trapped on a yacht with a killer. Her performance was so raw that it caught the eye of a certain American superstar, Tom Cruise. The Cruise years, a golden cage. Tom Cruise handpicked Nicole for the 1990 racing hit Days of Thunder. The romance was immediate and impulsive. They married on Christmas Eve in 1990 after a whirlwind courtship. To the world, they were the ultimate power couple, but the marriage carried shadows from the start. Nicole suffered a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy early on, a loss that left her devastated. The couple eventually adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor. However, the influence of the Church of Scientology became a constant source of public speculation. Reports suggested the church's rules created a distance between Nicole and her children, a gap that success could never quite fill. When the marriage ended in 2001, Nicole felt as though the ground had disappeared. The Great Transformation. Instead of fading away after the divorce, Nicole sprinted. She channeled her heartbreak into Moulin Rouge, singing and dancing through physical injuries. She won an Oscar for The Hours, disappearing behind a prosthetic nose to play Virginia Woolf. She proved she wasn't just a movie star wife. She was one of the greatest actors of her generation. She took punishing roles in films like Dogville and Cold Mountain, stripping away all glamour to show a woman carved by hardship. She was rebuilding her identity through risk, finding a soulmate in Keith Urban. In 2005, at a Day USA gala, Nicole met country star Keith Urban. She felt the spark instantly, but Keith didn't call for 4 months. He later admitted he didn't feel worthy of her while struggling with his own addictions. When they finally connected, the conversation flowed like it had been waiting for them. They married in 2006 in a stunning Sydney ceremony. But the fairy tale hit a wall just 4 months later. Keith relapsed and entered rehab. Nicole didn't walk away. She staged an intervention and stayed by his side. That struggle fused them together. They eventually welcomed 2 daughters, Sunday Rose, a miracle born when Nicole was 41, and Faith Margaret, born via surrogate. The power of the producer. Nicole eventually realized she couldn't wait for Hollywood to give her great roles, so she started Blossom Films. She took control, co-producing hits like Big Little Lies. She used her power to advocate for female directors and to tell stories about domestic abuse and female desire that the industry usually ignored. Even when she faced backlash, like the online death threats and protests over her casting as Lucille Ball in Being the Ricardos, she pushed through. She earned another Oscar nomination, proving her critics wrong once again. The 2024 Bombshell. Nicole has always pushed boundaries, but her recent work in the film Baby Girl shocked even her most loyal fans. At 56, she played a high-powered CEO engaged in a transgressive affair with a young intern. She spoke openly about the shame and exhaustion of the role, admitting she felt physically overwhelmed by the intensity of the scenes. But the real bombshell dropped off screen. In late 2025, reports surfaced that Nicole and Keith Urban had separated after 19 years of marriage. It wasn't a loud scandal. It was the quiet pulling apart of two people under the weight of separate lives. The divorce was reportedly finalized in early 2026. In a March 2026 interview with Variety, Nicole finally broke her silence. She didn't lean into the drama. Instead, she drew a firm circle around her daughters, stating simply, "We are a family, and we will continue to be one." Moving forward. At 58, Nicole Kidman is entering a new chapter. She described 2026 not as a year of performance, but as a year of moving forward on her own terms. She isn't waiting to be rescued, and she isn't disappearing. She is doing what she has always done, using her life, her pain, and her incredible talent to create something real. Nicole Kidman has spent a lifetime in the ring, feeling every emotion for us. Now, she's taking a breath and deciding what comes next for herself. What do you think of Nicole's journey from the Australian outback to Hollywood royalty? Does her honesty about her struggles make her more relatable? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into Nicole's life inspiring, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for more from Royal Time of Hollywood.